I'm delighted to welcome the four musketeers here from ID Logistics. They've got a very interesting presentation. They're going to share with you their business model, how it works, and what makes them different to the competition. Normal rules apply. You know, if you want to ask a question, just stick your hand up. I might stop them during the presentation just to ask them questions myself, but also to see if you guys have got any thoughts you want to share or any queries you want to clarify. Okay, so I think that's it. So you have the day off. I will walk around with this and ask questions because we only have the one microphone. Okay, over to you. Do you want to introduce yourselves and yeah?
So we'll start by myself. In fact, I'm Didier Guetton. I'm the group sales manager of ID Logistics. Been working for ID Logistics for 10 years, more or less now.
Hello, I am the guy with the blue hat there. Yeah, my name is Bruno, and I'm commercial director of ID Logistics in Belgium and the Netherlands. Thanks for showing up.
Hello, I'm Jean-Baptiste. I'm from France, and I'm in ID Logistics Group for 4 months, in fact. And I am the commercial director of Colisweb for the last mile delivery solution.
Hi, good afternoon. And I'm Stan Hamers, managing director of GVT Transport Logistics, which is part of ID Logistics since December of last year, working for more than 30 years within a company. And welcome.
Okay, so the thing that we are going to try to show you is that we are in essence a 20-year-old contract logistics player, yeah, that has been evolving under all these fantastic evolutions in the consumer markets. Yeah? And you will see that the two new colleagues, they are not entirely the same as what we used to be doing, and it's all part of a strategy to help our customers in this omni-channel digital world to be successful. That's a little bit the story, how we come from, let's say, a really good, sophisticated warehousing operator to an omni-channel service provider in the consumer market. Didier, you will give the basics, I think, of our company. Eh?
Yes, I will try to present, to make a short introduction to ID Logistics, in fact. So, as Bruno mentioned, ID Logistics is a 21 years old company. In fact, the company was created in France in 2001. The business of ID Logistics is really contract logistics. We are a logistics provider. We currently are in 18 countries. In fact, we used to open more or less 1 country per year. In fact, the countries are opened by accompanying the growth of our customers in their international development. The turnover of the company was last year 1.9 billion euro, and we are managing just a bit less than 400 sites over our 18 countries. That means that for 400 sites means something like 8 million square meters of warehouses, and the turnover is split in 3 main parts. The first part is retail. What we call retail at ID Logistics is mass retail. Food retail, non-food retail. So this is 40% more or less of the turnover of the company. 20% generated by industry. What industry is at ID Logistics is FMCG or CPG, as they said in the US. So this is the goods, the products manufactured or done by the industry to be sold by the mass retail, food or non-food, PepsiCo, Panzani, this type of products. And 40% of the business is generated by piece picking and e-commerce. What we have to keep in mind, as Bruno mentioned, some years ago, when ID Logistics has been created, the first and the most important part of the business was really focused on retail, mass retail, food, non-food retail. It was 4 years ago, it was something like 60%, 62% of the turnover was generated by this type of business. Now, due to the fact that the way to consume the products evolved, the e-commerce and the piece picking is the first part of the business at ID Logistics, including, we will see later, including transportation, last mile and so on.
Where does the name ID Logistics come from?
International development,
Yes.
originally.
And so the first customer was?
So in fact, the first customers, the real first customer was Carrefour. This is the reason why, in fact, the French mass retailer. This is the reason why the most important part of the business was food retail. We accompanied Carrefour in their international growth. The first country. So yeah, it's amazing. In fact, the first country of ID Logistics was not France, it was Taiwan, in fact. We started at Taiwan. After that, we opened France, and the third country we opened 2 years after the first one was Brazil, in fact. And we continued like that by accompanying our customer in their international growth. This is how ID Logistics is what ID Logistics is today.
Okay. Thank you, Didier.
You're welcome.
All right. And then about the strategy.
So the short-term strategy, short and mid-term strategy, is really to continue to accompany our customers in their international growth. For instance, we said we used to open more or less one country per year. We opened Italy some weeks ago by accompanying Amazon. In fact, Amazon is now one of our biggest customers. We opened Italy by accompanying Amazon in this specific country, in fact. We opened the US 3 years ago by accompanying Nespresso in their international growth in the US. This is really the way we used to grow, and this is how we would like to continue growing, by accompanying our customer in their international department.
Can you say a little bit about the different countries within ID Logistics? If you just go over South America.
So yeah, yes, you're right, Bruno. In fact, we didn't talk about that. In fact, we are 18 countries over Europe. ID Logistics is a key player, really a key player in Iberia. Iberia means Portugal and Spain, so France, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Poland, Romania, Russia. We also are working in North Africa, in Morocco, for some specific type of businesses, garments, for instance, or something like that. We talked about Brazil, so regarding South America, Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. We also are in the US. We did a significant acquisition of a logistics provider some month ago in the US. And we also continue to be in Taiwan and in Indonesia.
Okay. And about Russia, it is we have not closed the business, but because most of our customers in Russia are European companies that are scaling down. We announced clearly we are not going to send any money anymore over there. They cannot send us any money over here, and we estimate that this is a difficult situation for European logistics providers, and so we think it's not going to be a fantastic future with the situation, which is going to take a while, if ever, to correct itself and to get out of this mess.
So you will see, regarding the short-term strategy and short and mid-term strategy, you will see in some slides that we are working on some specific verticals, and the goal of ID Logistics is really to continue performing in those specific verticals. And so we are leaders in some of them, and we would like, and challengers on others, and we really would like to continue working on it.
The first picture illustrates that we go with our customers abroad to other places. Yeah. The second one is that when we are in a vertical, in a sector, we try to really be different, know it way better, and to really help the people that are in that vertical. And then the third one?
Innovation. So if you go to the second slide, so you will see that, so just keep in mind, ID Logistics was created in 2001, 20 years ago, starting from scratch. And when ID Logistics was created, all the existing giants were already giants. They were giants. And the only way we had to make a difference was to propose something different. So we decided to propose something different by innovating. So innovating means not only, so we are not launching targets on the moon. So we have to be clear. So our goal is to to store pallets, to prepare orders, units, cartons, and to ship it. So we are specialists on this type of business, and every innovation is focused on this type of business too. Okay? So 4 main major areas of innovation. The first one is robotics and innovation. The most important part of our sites for regarding piece picking, unit picking, e-commerce is automatized. Or with good summon solutions, for instance, or robots or something like that.
So for example, when you see here in the building Scalog or Exotech
Locus
or Locus and so on, we are using all
Eurostore,
those techniques.
Savoir. Well, I think we should have here more or less all our suppliers regarding the
robotization and
type
automation.
of innovation. Yeah. So this digitalization is also key. It's a way to train people directly on site. IoT and communication is also a part of innovation at ID Logistics, and also, of course, artificial intelligence and big data.
So when you go and visit and you compare our sites to, let's say, our main competitors, you will find way more automation, and this comes also always out of this innovation ecosystem that was started in the beginning, because unlike a big Schenker, for example, that had already his road transport, or a Kühnen & Nagel that could do global materials management with containers all over the world. The 5 guys that started with some support of private equity, they started in the south of France. They said, okay, we're going to make the difference in warehousing, and we can only do that by in the 4 walls of the warehouse, really being better, more performing, working harder, but also smarter and so on. And that's why innovation is, since a long time, an important part of our business. Yeah? And it's become only more and more important since a couple of years because of the digitization.
Yes, it's clear.
All right. So when you look at the sectors, I think Didier explained it a little bit, but you will see that there is a real dominance of what we call consumer markets. Yeah? And this is, I think, what this event is about, is how do you impact in a different way the consumer markets. Our origin was, as Didier explained, retail, yeah? Mass retail, food retail, yeah? But also non-food retail, so non-food and food retail. Yeah? Automatically, of course, you get into good relationship with what we call the fast-moving consumer goods producers, yeah? And that are the Unilevers of this world that supply us because we are in contact with these retailers. Yeah? And that was a good, and then automatically, because of the evolutions, we do a lot of business with e-commerce players. Yeah? And these e-commerce players, it can be pure e-commerce players, and then we treat them in here, or it can be retailers that have, let's say, an omni-channel challenge to solve. And then it's always a discussion. We have to put somebody in a hole, but it's clear you cannot categorize everybody. Everybody is different. But there is very little businesses left, I think, that are in consumer markets that don't think about the whole war that you can do towards the how can you challenge or find the customer in the shop, on the web, from a DC, with all kind of delivery possibilities. So FMCG, we are very strong in everything that is fashion and high tech, and then we have, especially in Iberia, quite a lot of healthcare activities, but I would say that is a little bit an exceptional business in our context. Yeah? But until, let's say, the real start of this omni-channel challenge, what we were a specialist in specific tailor-made warehousing, making a difference for our customer, being more operationally efficient, having better systems, automate smarter, and making the difference between the 4 walls. Yeah? And then there should be a movie, in my opinion. I don't know. Yes? Oh no, not yet.
Not yet.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is the thing that is happened. We have this innovative warehousing. We have this omni-channel change that is happening in the market, yeah? And all these things start to interfere in when we try to discuss with our customers, how do we help them best to be successful? It's not purely anymore about the warehouse, but it is about all the things that you can do. In the beginning, they were talking about, okay, we put e-commerce in a warehouse and we put the business to business in another warehouse. But then after a while, I think the omni-channel has now succeeded to replace that model. Yeah? But we were, and we still are, let's say, an expert in warehousing.
At ID Logistics, we're committed to automation, artificial intelligence and innovation as part of our very DNA. Through a combination of AMR technology and algorithms, we've increased the productivity and quality of order preparation, as well as improving ergonomic conditions for ID Logistics personnel. This innovative project increases response capacity and flexibility with varying order sizes and ability to optimize routes, thus increasing productivity. Implemented by ID Logistics in 2020, the system represents a 40% reduction in exertion, the equivalent of 4,000 tons, and a markedly significant increase in productivity. At ID Logistics, as we seek to improve productivity and flexibility of operations, we utilize the Internet of Things by connecting various devices to the Internet to perform new functions, control elements remotely, receive alerts and perform updates.
Full pallet inventory features imaging technology that is integrated with the warehouse management system. The station, which is equipped with cameras, allows for inventory to be moved at up to 10 km per hour with a reading quality rate that is over 99.8%.
Bleaker tags guarantee the quality and control of the loading and unloading of goods, facilitating their traceability and improving the quality of these processes. A common system that allows for streamlined processes and real-time monitoring of all deliveries. The control tower model is based on control optimization and innovation, and the Enlace model facilitates the consolidation of deliveries, resulting in a reduction in the carbon footprint.
So that is a movie with examples from Spain. Yeah? We have them everywhere. Eh? We have these movies in the Netherlands, we have these movies in Germany and so on. And we can show you all over the place comparable. And let's say that was the typical skill set of ID Logistics before we start discussing about, okay, all these things that move in this omni-channel world, what should we do with that? And we started looking, and then we started integrating. We are not like Maersk doing boats and then suddenly going into business to consumer, but we are doing also other stuff because we want to serve our customers, retailers, FMCG. And Jean-Baptiste, yeah, is one of our new colleagues. Jean-Baptiste, he has an incredible product because he serves retailers and other players with deliveries out of the stores. So you can deliver out of... Jean-Baptiste, what can you say about your fantastic company that within our organization, it's Colisweb? When did it start?
It started 9 years ago. We are based in Lille, in north of France, and we are making last mile delivery simple, reliable and sustainable. It's very important. And at the beginning, the delivery was from, as you said, from stores, and now we develop from warehouse because it's very important. And what is we are only making delivery by appointment. It's very important now because we are on the 2-hour slot to make delivery, because customers are usually very for them it's very important to make sure that the payment on web is good, and it's very important too that the slot of delivery will be will be assured, and now we do a slot, 2-hour slots for all our deliveries, and they can choose the appointment. We don't impose to the customers the appointment. They can choose the appointment, and they can change it, of course, if they are not available, or if they want to change, they can always change the appointment. It's very important, and we have got an expertise in all products because we make deliveries with a 1 man or 2 or 3 men, from small iPhone till 1,800 kilos of shipments. So, and we do also groceries deliveries from different retailers like Carrefour, Auchan, and also. And now we are very omnichannel delivery solution, because, as I said, we started for retailers, and now we are making a delivery from warehouse for a pure player or retailer. We need to make deliver, and we've got 25 hub to cover all over the France, and to always to make deliveries by appointment. It is now in-house technology, because the Colisweb at first was created with, and now we have got 20 engineers. We are making the track and trace and all the solution to make simple the delivery for our customers. And for
it was a technology startup.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
It is a model, where you have, let's say, a platform.
Yeah, it's a model and platform, and we are in the Euratech, which is a French Silicon Valley in the north of France, and there is many startup in the north of France, in Lille, and we are startup, and as you said, and we are now 20 engineers. We are always making in progress our solution and the algorithm to make sustainable solution, because we make tools of organization, so optimization tools of optimization. We can pick up in different stores many deliveries, and to make tour optimization.
And for example, in France, you cover the whole of France?
Yeah, we cover all of France. I don't know, more 150 towns, all the France, all the big city and all the small city are covered.
And you can make a deal, for example, with IKEA in France?
Yeah, so we're making deliveries for IKEA from a warehouse or from store, Leroy Merlin, Castorama, Decathlon, from warehouse or from stores, Darty, Boulanger, Marionneau, Nocibé for perfume. So you can see that could you make delivery for iPhone from Darty, or perfume for Marionneau, Nocibé, and from DIY shipments more 1,000 kilograms. So, and
you work with partners, I think, locally.
Yeah, we are making deliveries with partners, and now with ID on van, and so now and more cargo van and electrical van, and of course bicycle to make deliveries sustainable in different countries. First Paris, Strasbourg, Lille, Montpellier, Clermont-Ferrand, and many and more. In fact, towns we are making deliveries with electrical van or cargo.
So for ID Logistics, as a company that is active in logistics for retailers in the consumer market and so on, this is of course a service that we discovered, that they were looking at. How do you do this? How do you manage this? It's a startup. We are not a startup. We are a logistics company. But the click was there, and now since 6 months, I think we're working well together.
4 months.
4 months.
Yes. And what is very important for us when we are sustainable is to mix deliveries from warehouse, from store. Then the van are never empty. And when the van are never empty, you decrease emission of carbons, and you can pick up, deliver, pick up, deliver, pick up, and deliver. And it's very important for us, and always to be delivery by appointment. It should be at time, because we are 95% in the slot.
Okay. So that is an example of how we expanded our business model to the needs of the customers, and where we are looking, okay, if we want to be, let's say, the best possible logistics provider in consumer markets with all these omni-channel evolutions, then we need to look at what is the services that we have and how can we combine them with new ones. And then out of that, a same evolution happened in Belgium and the Netherlands. And that Stan is going to explain. He's managing director of a company that is still called GVT a little bit, but that is ID Logistics. Stan, what's your story?
Yes, that's also a nice story, Bruno. No, I think that we are also an example of what you are telling about the changes within ID Logistics. We are really an asset-based company as GVT with a strategy that's been there already for a long time, based on services on pallet distribution. As GVT, we have 7 own hubs in the Netherlands and in Belgium, of where we do the last mile of mostly pallets. But I always said we start there where parcel carriers are getting too expensive, or where parcel carriers cannot handle the collie anymore. We also have focus on FTL, on milk runs, from the retailers, and maybe you can explain that better, what we do together since quite a long time.
The
Bruno.
was what we knew is what we serve, for example, a company like Macro, or in the Netherlands Intratuin, yeah, or Maxeda in Belgium is it known as Brico, in the Netherlands as Praxis, yeah. And GVT and us, we worked already together for the deliveries from warehouse to store. Yeah? But they have a fantastic pallet distribution network, which in these consumer markets can make a difference. And that is one. So next to that, they also. So what we are doing is using that skill set, yeah, to make sure that in this market we want to be the best that there is. Yeah. And you have.
Well, what we already saw a couple of years ago is that also our average shipment is getting lower and lower. And what we see in our pallet network, that we're getting more parcels. From there we had the wish to have also a collie network. So last week we announced that we took over an in-sourced network with 21 extra depots in the Netherlands, of where we're going to do the collie shipments. So from that perspective, we are sitting also here because with the platform of Colisweb, and we as an asset-based company, we can have focus on the Benelux market on that when we talk about the last mile.
It is a relatively specific collie business that you took over, which is more complicated than what a DPD or a GLS or a UPS would do. Can you explain the difference, what it is?
Well, as I already mentioned, we start there where the parcel carrier has not the capabilities to deliver. That's also what we see in the retailers or at the wholesalers, where we do a lot for. We can have more. The service is what you get we can service more the services, as you heard from Colisweb, with time frames, extra time frames, personally hand over, install service, but also during night deliveries, and of course. We can easily go from the pallet network to the collie network, so we can take whatever the customer has.
That is the story that we wanted to tell you, that we are a traditional warehousing provider that was exceptionally good in doing that stuff, but that there is evolutions, and that we said, okay, how are we going to try to continue to try to differentiate ourselves in this omni-channel market, and therefore Colisweb, GVT, and so on, and we try to discuss with our customers, find out what they need, and that's a little bit the story that we wanted to share. And we import knowledge, we import capabilities, and we stick to what we still know best, but we combine it now with new trades. And perhaps if there's any questions, yeah, it's already relatively late, yeah, but okay. Anybody?
Anybody got any questions? We have one here.
Oh,
Right. I'm going to increase my step count.
In French, it's for me.
Yeah, I'll be quick, or try to be. So, you're going to solve as a retailer, you're going to solve my warehouse problems, you're going to solve my pick, pack, ship, you're going to get my products out, whether I'm a web shop or a physical retailer. Everybody here today's got end-to-end solutions and nobody has, but what you're doing on the physical logistics space is moving into the delivery side. The types on two-person delivery in Holland and France. What I'm curious about on the French piece that you're adding, and I said I wouldn't ask you a question, but sorry, is are you also? It's always a triangle, right? People, process, systems. Are you also providing the systems for running the? As a retailer, I've got stock in stores and stock in a warehouse, and I want to take my customer order and allocate it to that stock. Are you doing that bit for me, or are you just when I say just, it's still important, but are you just solving the pick it up and deliver piece? Do you understand the distinction? Like, are you?
Yeah.
I don't have any idea about my stocks, right?
Thank you for the question. Yes.
Yeah. Do
Yes.
you solve that for me or not?
Not.
Okay, Vincent.
No, but if I understood your question, in different for many customers, they have stocks in their stores, and the customers can order on the web, and the store pick up the stock in the stores or in the warehouse. It depends, and we just come to make deliveries. When the customers in the checkout of the
So
he can choose the
Jonathan, I think we, like everybody here, we're all learning continuously. This is but this is an important subject. There's a couple of companies here that try to deal with that. So I heard the example of an order comes and then they say, is it available in a store? How do you do that selection? Currently in our technology solution stack, it is not available yet, but perhaps 5 years ago we had never heard of MetaPack and all those delivery management solutions either, and we evolve continuously, and if this is an important part in how we are going to serve our customers in the future, we will develop it. He was 4 months ago not a part of ID Logistics. Stan was not, how much?
6 months.
6 months ago,
Yeah.
yeah? And so it's not entirely buckled up yet, but we would love to discuss with every customer his vision for the future and how can we contribute to that.
No, I see where you're going, and Bruno, I'm not being critical because I think it's
I know.
exactly the way to go. I think part of the problem for retailers, the e-com companies here, come from a technical background and a technology background. The physical retailers don't have it and are always looking for their 3PLs to solve it. So that's just a curiosity question. But two hotspots, 2% levering in the Netherlands and Duitsland, and data, and helping companies with data is absolutely going in the right direction for me.
Excellent. Any other questions? Slightly simpler questions than that one. No, it's a good question. I think the real issue is the visibility of inventory closest to the shopper, right? And you need to have the retailer's own stock visibility. It needs to be in real time. And that's your challenge.
Yeah.
Your technology is fine. It's maybe the retailer that has the challenge, yeah? But I love it. I used to sit on the board of a company called Shuttle.
Yeah?
Yeah, that did this, and they were bought by eBay for, I think, 50 times revenue.
Where were they? In the UK? Or?
2012 in the UK, yeah.
The UK?
In London, yeah. Anyway, it's not about me, it's about you.
Or it's part of eBay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions? No? Okay, guys, carry on.
No, but I think we are a little bit there. I hope you enjoyed here, or that you still enjoy the thing. I think there's already quite a couple of people left. The premises, it's more calmed down. But anyway, it was an honor and a pleasure to present to you ID Logistics.
I have one question.
Sure.
Okay, right. So you said, I think it was Didier maybe, said that you use
Could be.
many different robot suppliers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you named maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you choose so many?
Because in fact, there is a lot of each customer is different, okay, and the needs of each customer is different, and we try. So we are not a robot maker, in fact, okay. We are users also, and we have the chance to be able to select the more relevant type of system we will need for in order to manage the flow of our customers. So the market is open. We just decide to choose the best one.
But there are, let's say, there is a website and it's lots of bots. Interesting if you want to go and check that. Yeah? Lots of bots. And there's some 100 suppliers of, let's say, AMRs on there. Yeah? And we have experience, for example, with an Irish company called Iratech. Yeah? Fantastic goods to man on shelves and all that. We have experience here with. There's a couple of categories. For example, a locus system, yeah, where the robot goes to the picking position. Yeah? The operator still has to move. It's a different category from a shelf, a goods to man system, where the robot of Scalog or Iratech or whatever brings the goods to the person. So there's a number of categories that you can analyze, but then within those categories, yeah, and Exotech is also a little bit different and so on. Within those categories, suppose you have 10, yeah, that you think, then there is the commercials, the way that you work to, the relation that you build. And we do experience, and we for example, the locus thing in Spain, we learned a lot about that. Yeah? Also about what is perhaps not 100% right yet, yeah? Because those guys that are now doing those experiments, they are learning really. For example, with Iratech, we learned that when you have a goods to man, you know this, the robot comes with the shelf, brings the goods, and there is a picker and he has to pick. The productivity you can increase a lot by having just 2 robots. Yeah? But they all offer just a window with 1 robot, and then when the guy, it stands like that, and he can pick here and he can pick there. And all that practical experience we are now building, and that's why we work together with a couple of. For example, we are looking at an auto store, which is also here in. And with an auto store, you can do that with Swisslog, you can do that with Element Logic, and they all have other warehouse control systems. And it's the jungle, but it's very, very interesting. And now is the moment to experiment, learn, and we will see who wins those games. Eh? The robot will be not the differentiator. The IT, because this robot, the locus system, he goes somewhere, but how has he calculated the routing that he followed? Does he take into account where the operator is, or does he only look and so on? So the complexity of the algorithms that they are writing, there the battle is being made. But that you cannot just see on the show that the robot drives, that is in the software, in the logic, in the discussions about what happens, how do you make your decisions, how can we optimize, what is there still. We did a project like that in Taiwan, yeah? And I think every upgrade that we did, we increased productivity. The software that was upgraded, we increased productivity by 20% every time. It's complicated.
But the point is, you guys have the know-how, and you can test different robots, so you can help these guys make the right choices.
We have 400 DCs. When we fuck up on one of them, yeah, we learn that there's 399 that we should not do the same thing.
Exactly.
And we solve it on the one where we had the problem.
Yeah. No, I get that. Any questions before we wrap up, guys? Nope. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks.